Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. In this video, you'll learn about how to become a good lecturer. From the onset, I want to state that this is a research-based guide to designing learning and building trust and inspiring students. In this lecture video, we'll focus on the 3 C's, and that is character, competence, and connection as the 3 key pillars to a good lecture. In this video, the following are the key objectives. Number 1, from this lecture video, you will learn about who a good lecturer is. You'll be able to identify the personal and professional qualities of a good lecturer. You'll be able to apply student-centered teaching strategies that will help you to become a good lecturer. You'll also be able to learn on how to build a good relationship between a lecturer and the students. You also be able to learn on how you can be able to reflect on your teaching methodologies and improve upon them so that you can become a good lecturer over time as the environment changes. And a good lecturer needs to be adaptive all the time, learning about the new ways of teaching and improving on themselves. Going straight into it, before we can look at the 3 C's, I want to highlight that there is a need of a mindset shift from the traditional model to the student-centered model. The traditional model, which is quite common, looks at a lecturer as someone who has got all the wealth knowledge that they have. They only go to sit or to stand in front of the students and give them the information. They don't care about whether the students are learning or not. That's it, as long as they deliver the information. But we have to shift. We need to have a mindset shift. For you to become a good lecturer, you need to have a mindset shift from the traditional model to a student-centered model that looks at a lecturer as just a guide on the side. A lecturer that designs learning experiences or students, discusses, practices, and applies successes evidence of learning. To help us understand this mindset shift, we'll look at the 3 levels built by Biggs and Tang. Level 1, that looks at what the student is. In this model, the model blames the student and sees the lecturer as their role as simply knowing and presenting the content. Whenever the students don't learn or they fail, they are attributed to the inherent characteristics of these students. And henceforth, it doesn't care on any methodologies or the learning environment that is being put across. I wouldn't encourage this level, and henceforth, the emphasis on the mind shift. When we go on to level 2 focuses on what the teacher or the lecturer does. Yes, this is a progressive model because it blames on the teacher or the lecturer, and henceforth, it encourages changes in teaching methodologies that will ensure that it improves the learning of the students. Even if it's an improvement from level 1, this model is still centered on the lecturer and not centered on the students. It's all focusing on the delivery of the information and not necessarily on how students are learning. When we move to level 3, it focuses on what the student does. And this model looks at how can we improve the way in which the students learn. So it looks at the environment, the expertise, how lecturers should behave themselves, how lecturers should organize themselves to ensure that it improves the learning experience of the students, how to motivate students, and the like. This is the model that we'll be looking at that incorporates the 3 C's that is being emphasized as a good lecturer. Now let's look at the 3 C's of an effective lecturing. The 3 C's include number 1, character, that builds trust on who you are as a lecturer. Competence, it looks at what you know and able to explain as a lecturer. Connection, it looks at how you relate and involve students in your lecturing activities. Now let's look at this in detail under each of these 3 C's. Character. Character is the foundation of trust. For you to be a good lecturer, number 1, you must show enthusiasm and passion. Just by showing that, students will be able to see the value of whatever they are learning. If a lecturer is passionate about what they are teaching, students will be inspired and encouraged or motivated to learn. Number 2, fairness and humility. A good lecturer, you should be able to admit, especially in the current situation where students can be able to read more because of the internet, students can have more information than what the lecturer has. So a good lecturer should be able to humble yourself and respond to students if you don't know about something. And of course, promise that you read about it and come back later if they ask a question that you don't know about. In doing so, you are building trust with the students, you are building that integrity. Number 3, compassionate and respect. Compassionate and respect is not just about showing that compassion, it's about listening to students' perspectives. By doing so, you are creating a safe environment that will make the students be able to be free to ask any intellectual questions that they need. So as you interact with the students, you are actually depositing a trust mechanism that is there over time, and henceforth, you have to be consistent in the character that you portray students from the get-go to the end of probably the module, so that the students can build on that trust and believe in you all the time. When you look at competences, it looks about the knowledge made and learnable. A good lecturer should be the master. You should be able to master the knowledge and be current. You know, things are evolving at a very fast pace with technology now. A good lecturer should be able to update themselves, read about the latest journals about a subject matter, and be able to respond to the current questions. Number 2, a good lecturer should be able to structure their lectures properly in a logical sequence manner, such that it's easy for students to follow. Number 3, a good lecturer should be able to explain concepts, complex concepts, properly in a simple way that students can be able to understand and ask additional questions mindfully. Number 4, a good lecturer should be able to assess the students within the lecture. As the lecturer goes on, you should be able to ask the students what they are learning about. Ask them some questions that will be able to help you gauge whether the students have understood or not. C number 3, it's about connection. C number 3, it's about moving from monologue to dialogue. In this number 3, it looks about the connection that needs to happen between the students and the lecturer. And why is it important? Is because students are human beings. And henceforth, a lecturer needs to have interpersonal skills that can bridge the gap between the lecturer and the students. Usually, I've seen lecturers before, whereby a lecturer doesn't smile or crack jokes with students from the start of the lecture to the end of the lecture. It gives that move, or it creates an environment that students are not comfortable with. But to improve on that, you have to bridge the gap. It's you, the lecturer, to take the first step to ensure that that gap, there is a bridge that's there that can help students become free and be able to talk to you as a lecturer. And how can you do this? Number one, by creating a positive learning environment. An effective lecturer intentionally cultivates a climate or an environment that builds trust, beliefs in the students, and create an environment that encourages participation. Students should be there to ask questions. How can you do that? Know students by their names. Encourage students. Call upon them to ask questions. Number two, ability to motivate students. When you build that connection with students, you should be able to help them or motivate them or influence them in one way or the other to learn about the subject matter. How can that be done? By showing students the value that subject matter is to them. How that can be done is by linking into the real world problems that are there. When you link the lecture to the real world, to the real world problems, students will be inspired or motivated to learn more about it because they know they're going to use it to solve real world problems. Number three, active learning. I talked about it earlier on. Encourage students to participate in the lecture. Let them ask questions. Let them be free to ask useless questions, so to say. Create intellectual freedom. They should be free to take intellectual risks and not be laughed at or discourage them from asking questions. Number four, encourage learners' autonomy and responsibility. Good lecturers actually empower students to take ownership of their learning through independent inquiry, critical reflection, self-directed study, collaborative problem solving. In doing so, we're again going back to that level 3 that we talked about. It's a student-centered approach that promotes deep learning and lifelong learning of the skills for students. Lastly, but not the least, a good lecturer builds an environment that is interactive, like I stated earlier, and also creates assessments and provide feedback that will help students improve. A good lecturer actually actively engages students in the learning process by use of assessments. Like I stated earlier on, asking students questions, you hear their feedback. In that sense, you'll be able to help them or craft some strategies or adapt or change the strategies of lecturing so that they can be able to understand more and better. Okay? So those are the 3 C's. But lastly, but not the least, I would say that a good lecturer should be able to reflect and practice on a continuous improvement cycle. What does that entail? You as a lecturer, at all times, you need to evaluate yourself. As you teach, gather evidence from students, your fellow lecturers within the department, and reflect on that information that you have gathered to improve your lecturing strategies and adapting to the new ways that will help you to be able to plan the lectures properly and create the environment that students will be able to learn properly. In all this, all I'm asking from you, if you are in the lecturing jobs, or what you can do or what you have learned from this, is number one, is to keep what you know is working well at the moment. I know usually lecturers forgo traditional methods ultimately, but there are some things that work. Okay, so if they work properly and students are learning properly, please keep those things. Keep those strategies. Number two, my call of action is start practicing new things that you have learned from here. What are the good characteristics from that perspective? And practice them going forward. Number three, also know the don'ts, the characteristics that are not good for students' learning experience. Stop them, build them from that perspective. The last topic that I mentioned about on reflecting on the teaching is helpful in ensuring that you keep what is good, you start new things, you stop the old habits, and you strategize again. Key takeaways or conclusion from this lecture is number one, you need to know about the 3 C's. That is character. A good lecturer has good character that builds trust. Competences, a good lecturer has got a good competence and is a master of the knowledge of a subject matter and is able to explain clearly. Number 3, a good lecturer builds a good connection with the students to build a safe environment that will improve participation or active learning. Lastly, but not the least, for sustainability purposes, a good lecturer reflects on their teaching methodologies and improves them over time. Thank you all for listening to this lecture video. You can refer to the selected references that I've listed below. Thank you all. Hope this video is helpful. Thank you.